in here, so no Olivia Thomas. It is North Carolina in the white, North Carolina State in the black. It's game on here, 53 degrees, a beautiful October evening here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and expect the Tar Heels to come out flying here tonight.
100% senior night for them as well, and they also know that NC State is going to bring a lot of energy in this game. Only 25 miles down the road, they'll want to come in here and prove what they've been trying to prove all of ACC play is that they can compete.
Pinballing around here in midfield, your referee is David Erbacher. And here's the target play right now over the top. As in transition, and that has been a little bit of an issue for North Carolina when they push into the attack, conceding a little space.
There's a lot of numbers that are committed forward in the North Carolina attack, and that rest defense is something that's important, especially against a team like NC State that has really good, stingy defending and looks to attack through Bordelot.
It was Freifeld who played it out wide over to Ashley Penny. Here's Penny again, who kind of balances out that midfield for North Carolina. Tino knocked it forward, and it's cleared by NC State. How does NC State approach this one tonight here under first-year head coach Gary Higgins?
Well, one of the things that they've really done throughout ACC play is have a defensive structure that really works, that they've bought into. They know they can keep clean sheets and stay in games. So expect them to have 2 blocks of 4, really stingy with 2 players above. They usually go a 4-4-1-1 from the defensive perspective and make it hard for opponents to pull them apart.
By the way, they are undefeated on the road in the ACC. Had a rough start to the season in non-conference, but then in the ACC really turned it around. It's a program under Higgins now that's trying to create a new culture.
Well, something that Gary Higgins has proven is that he can do that. He can go into programs. He was just most recently at East Carolina, won the American Championship with them before coming to State, and he knows how to organize teams to make them as competitive as possible. And you mentioned the away form as well. That's a mentality piece that he really buys into with his group, and they've bought into it and have been really stingy on the road.
Bigger ball, this is direct and off her line is North Carolina State goalkeeper Olivia Protopus. And Protopus had 16 saves in their last game against Duke in a 3-1 loss. That's incredible numbers for a goalkeeper.
Yeah, Olivia Protopus was one of those players that she started the year, had a little bit of struggles, but earned her position back, and she's been essential for them throughout this ACC stretch.
And continuing in goal for North Carolina is Hannah Johan, who has pretty much grabbed the starting job now. 7th straight appearance for her tonight. There's her record. There's her goals against average. And she is from Bamberg, Germany. Six is the very talented Mana Nakata from Osaka, Japan. Really tidy on the ball in midfield for the Wolfpack. Duda knocked it inside. Tried to hit the feet of Lydecker, but the Tar Heels win it back here.
I think we're going to see some of those moments of possession from NC State. When we talked to Gary Higgins this week, he did talk about that bravery and possession higher up the field. And Wong is going to be important to that. Nakata is going to be important to that. They play in those holding mid roles, so they'll be looking to combine in that midfield area to make the Tar Heels chase.
He's built it on defending and good collective defending, and they're now trying to add more in the attack. Speaking of the attack, here's the Tar Heels now. Making a late run there, getting into the box was Freifeld. They couldn't pick her out. Bordelot. And quickly shepherded to the sideline, denied the turn by North Carolina. Here's a good look at Jade Bordelot. Scored in 5 straight, actually, against SMU, FSU, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, and BC. So This is a pretty reliable and dependable goal scorer. What a luxury for any team to have.
Well, and the part that people don't see is that when you score that much, you are on every team's scouting report. So everyone's focused on you, but you're still finding ways to score goals. And that's what's really impressive about what Jade Bordelot has done, is she keeps reinventing how she can score.
Be a free kick here. Yuna Aoki fouled from Shizuoka, Japan. So you got a couple of Japanese players on this team that are really, really technically proficient, which we always see from the Japanese national team in women's world football.
Oh, I remember when we would play against Japan, you would think there was more players on the field because their movement was so good. They were so technically sound. You would swear that there was more players out there, but they just thought so much further ahead, and they had the technique to go with it.
Used to be a long ball here. This one will come into the box. The second ball will be very important. It goes all the way back to goal, and Johan is there for North Carolina. 11-6, 5-4 in the ACC. Tar Heels are 8-1 at home.
I don't mind that from the Tar Heels, though, looking to go a little bit more direct. They know that NC State, when they get into their defensive structure, can be incredibly hard to break down. So the expectation would be that the Tar Heels are going to have to figure that piece out, but the direct play and transition could catch the Wolfpack out a little bit when they commit numbers a bit higher and there's space to be able to penetrate.
Well, some good news for Damon Nahas. Riley Kennedy and Lauren Malsom, who are away with the under-17 national team in Morocco, are going to be back in the fold here and can help them in the NCAA tournament after they were eliminated, the under-17s, by the Netherlands in penalty kicks. Driving down the left side here, Bretzer. Eden Bretzer's cross is swept away by North Carolina State. It'll be a throw-in here. Those two additions at the right time here, you never know how much influence they could have on this team.
It will certainly help with the depth as they go down the stretch a little bit. Two great players, especially should be seniors in high school, and our freshmen and their players that have been representing at the U17 World Cup. They'll come in and provide that depth.
Bordelot trying to get there. She does have a turn of pace, but it's knocked back now. Caitlin Mara.
So this is where we can really start to see the defensive structure of NC State, more in that 4-4-1-1. And so they're choosing to go a little bit more direct, the Tar Heels, just not to let NC State get comfortable.
Here are the Tar Heels in the box. They come. Sweeping shot will go wide. Beautifully set up to Kate Fossey. Beautiful piece of play here from the Tar Heels, and could likely have been up 1-0.
And Gatino's so reliable and looking to go direct at times. Finds Devey. She isolates, gets around her 1v1 battle, then a great little slip ball with the outside of the foot. Fossey could have let that go about a yard further to get a hips around it, but a good opportunity for the Tar Heels here early on.
Fossey, 9 goals, 5 assists on the year. Tonight will be at the tip of the spear for Olivia Thomas, who is not available. Last year was the #1 player in the country, winning the Mac Herman Award. It's a big year. Mac Herman Award and national championship.
And for that not to be her senior year, and I think what's so interesting about Kate Fossey is that she was not even starting the year prior at times, and she comes in her junior year, wins the Mac Herman Trophy, and then in her senior year, I think give her a lot of credit. It took her a little while to get going on the goal scoring department, but to follow up a year like that with the year she's having now is incredibly impressive. It's a lot of pressure, and she's a focal point for opposition, and she's still been able to figure it out.
Comes the Tar Heels. So there's a result in 8 goals tonight by #2 Stanford against Cal.
Well, if that isn't a statement,
victory.
If that is not a statement, I don't know what is. That is incredible from Stanford.
Cross comes in towards the near post. Swept out of there by Mackenzie Smith. It was an interesting story. Was at NC State, then went to East Carolina, Gary Higgins, the former East Carolina coach, gets a job here. Back to North Carolina State she comes.
There you go.
Of course, you and I called the East Carolina win in the AAC tournament last year. That was very dramatic. And a big statement from the head coach, Gary Higgins.
It was a great run, a lot of tactical changes based on opposition. He knew what he had in his personnel and made some really great changes throughout. And you could just see what he was doing in that run, and the players executed brilliantly.
And against the very good Memphis in that final in Brooks Monahan.
Here we go, back, here we go. Reset! Tight, three, beware.
De La Rose knocks it back. Gatino's touch is too long there. It's one back by NC State. Now this would be a prime time to get forward here quickly, because you've got North Carolina running back towards their own goal, and they recover beautifully.
And if that's going to happen there, when you dribble, penetrate, and you turn the ball over, it's going to take tracking from midfield. You can see Freifeld in the midfield, an attacking midfielder tracking all the way back centrally. That has to happen because there's an expansive shape from the Tar Heels in those moments where Gatino turns it over.
Now this is an area Damon Nahas talked to us about. Concentration when there's throw-ins and rebooting yourself here to defend these throw-ins. And set pieces for that matter. Talked a lot about the concentration piece with us.
Well, and I think sometimes that can happen when you have a bit of a younger roster. If you do just check out for 1 second here or there, veteran players can take advantage of that. And the problem is you can do it for 89 minutes, but if you do it that 1 minute, you can be punished in a conference like the ACC. So that's part of their growth as a group.
Happens in every league in the world.
It does.
Even the vaunted Premier League that everybody loves so much.
True.
Here's a good look at Damon Nahas. Led the team to the national title last year. He was a player at NC State. Also was a U.S. Youth National Team coach at the under-15 level, assistant at the under-17, and of course all that time under the legendary Anson Dorrance. Who, by the way, my first time back in this stadium, I mean, and his fingerprints are all over this, but this is absolutely gorgeous setting for college soccer.
It is stunning. It's a great place, and they've just made such enhancements, if that's even a small word to use, for what's been done.
Big direct ball over the top. Fossey trying to get there, and Pratipus is out her line. Here's a good look at the legendary Anson Dorrance.
I love seeing him at these games with his wife Melissa as well. I know they come out to as many as they can just to continue supporting the program, and he's still such an integral piece of what this program's about.
Well, then you take it even deeper into just what he did overall globally for the women's game, and really bringing the attention he did to it.
100%. One thing I'm liking from the Tar Heels tonight, Glenn, is that they're going a little bit more direct than we've seen in some previous games, but they're noticing that there's some space in behind to exploit. Protopis is going to be really important in managing it.
Yeah, they have really come out with a high tempo here tonight. A lot of time to pick a head up, a lot of time to get it across, and the header's not going to be on target. Fossey was in there, goes out for the goal kick.
And as athletic as Fossey is and how much she can jump, this ball from Devey is just a little bit too far. It floats up. She has to jump from a standing position, still gets to it, not able to direct it on frame. But she's the best aerial presence for the North Carolina Tar Heels. So they'll look to continue serving her on set pieces and anytime they get in those wide areas.
Kate Fossey has 3 multi-goal games on the year. Senior from Phoenix, Arizona.
A little different look there from NC State, getting a little higher into a 4-2-3-1. Duda and Roberts playing a little higher, forcing North Carolina to go long in this moment. When they get a little bit lower, it goes more into those 2 blocks of 4. So the Tar Heels will have to figure out that build-up.
De La Rose. Just such a dependable player for UNC. A little bit of dancing on the ball here by Freifeld.
This is great from Freifeld. She has an underlapping run. She gets the ball recipient, uses a little deception on Mary Frances Sims, who completely takes her out in that moment. Just a late tackle as Freifeld gets around.
So that cultured left foot of Tessa Delarose here from Grindstone, Pennsylvania. Delivery to the back post, and North Carolina State gets ahead on it. Good work there. But it's still the Tar Heels in possession. Shot whipped in. Oh. Trying to get a piece of it. Whipped across the face of the goalkeeper, Olivia Pratipus. And inside there was Fossey sniffing around.
There's more of an air of unpredictability from Bella Devey so far in this game. She's looked across. This time she comes inside, almost getting on the back shoulder is Fossey. But you're right what you said earlier, Glenn, is it's just that there's an extra edge right now in the way that North Carolina is attacking. It's that time of year where they know they hold their own destiny to a degree, and they need to make sure they try to get the win tonight.
Brooklyn Holt. That's Mary Frances Sims wearing number 21, the right back for North Carolina State. And we've noticed in games she can get forward. Boy, she's been at home here tonight so far.
Well, she is definitely one of those players that likes to go forward.
Been kept back by all this North Carolina pressure.
And one of the big changes that's made is Alex Moore was given the red card in the last game, so Brooklyn Holt had to slide inside to center back. Mary Frances Sims had to slide to right back, normally a right winger. But there's something that NC State can actually take advantage of, too, is if they can get control of the ball, Sims can join the attack. She's really comfortable in that. But it is something they've had to adapt to. But luckily for them, they have Brooklyn Holt, who is just a steady presence in that back line. And
you quickly saw Holt there. We've got a change here now. Sophia Hernandez coming in, number 28 for Erica Roberts. So first change here of the game for Gary Higgins in his first year at NC State. Kind of crazy. Their non-conference schedule, they really struggled. And then they just really came into life and came into their own in the ACC.
It's pretty impressive what they were able to do, because they almost had to reinvent themselves in some ways, or just learn to adapt a little bit differently. And you can give Gary Higgins credit for that, but I think his entire staff as well, because that takes buy-in. When things aren't going well, and then you're able to flip that on its head and get players to buy in and also perform, it's pretty impressive what the staff has done, and they've had a really good run here in ACC play.
Coming out of midfield here, Hernandez, the sub. Another early ball, but it's cleaned up with a very, very aware play from Mackenzie Smith now.
What you also notice, Mackenzie Smith steps in well, but Brooklyn Holt is now alert to the fact that Kate Fossey is looking to penetrate vertically every time Gattino especially gets on the ball. She has more of that presence to go more direct, and it certainly feels like she has the green light from Damon Nahas to do so.
One-timed out of there by Hannah Johann in goal. Her club team in Germany, for those who know German soccer, Eintracht Frankfurt.
Pretty darn good club, right?
Frankfurt, Germany. Spent some time in Minnesota at Shattuck St. Mary's School. But the foreign element in the college game continues to be a big piece. One day we'll get a thank you note from Canada for developing a lot of their players.
A lot of them have been in the collegiate game, that's for sure.
Canada quickly figured out the college game in the U.S. is a good place to be.
Definitely.
Of course, Canada will be along with the U.S. and Mexico, hosts of the World Cup on the men's side coming up. And we've got a women's one. Long-range shot here. Oh, went off the head. And boy, that was a bit of a stunner there on Caitlin Mara. Don't like to see that.
That was a little bit scary. She jumped higher than the ball actually went, so it looked like it went right into the face, and her reaction really said it all there. But tough player, really good aerially as well, defensively and on the attacking side.
makes a deflection. Could have went anywhere, and a good idea. Not able to put it on frame from Eden Bretzer to try and maybe put it over the top of Pratipus.
I don't mind this from Bretzer because Fossey would have been offside as she puts the pressure on Pratipus. She steps right in, gets the deflection, goes off her hips. Pratipus is off her line after this pressure. Fossey would have been offside, so why not go for it from Bretzer? Good decision, just doesn't get over it enough.
Still can't get over that. Pratipus, the senior from Clemens, North Carolina, in their last game against Duke, a 3-1 loss, had 16 saves. So if you're NC State, do you want to take a little bit of the edge out of this? Do you want to take your time on set piece, try to slow this game down maybe a little bit?
I don't know about too much because they have that intensity as well, and they have that little bit of an edge, and so it's picking the right moment. So if North Carolina gets a really long spell of possession or dangerous chances, then yes, I think you're right. Maybe slow it down a little bit. But right now, it seems to be something that they can deal with to a degree, and they've actually found ways to find Bordelot at times or get set pieces going forward.
Well, that's a good point because it could work negatively as well. If you decide is just kind of slow it down a little bit and maybe allow a little bit more here. But North Carolina has been dominating the possession here. Big spin out of there by Ashley Penny. Last year she was a key reserve for UNC. Now she's a sophomore from Miami, Florida, and a key starter. So many other key games going on here tonight. So many possibilities. Top 6 go to the ACC tournament.
And that's why it's so important just to focus on your game, your result, and then you let everything fall where it falls. But you can see that tonight with the intensity of this game. They're not thinking about anything except this result.
Yeah, we learned that today, looking at all the different combinations that could potentially happen. Dorrance Field, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Glenn Davis alongside former U.S. national team player Casey White. 0-0 scoreline here between North Carolina and NC State at Dorrance Field. Both teams needing a win to keep alive to get into that top 6 and be a part of the ACC tournament.
And it certainly has been a high-energy game from both of these teams, but especially the Tar Heels. They look like they want to go forward every opportunity they can get directly, and they're really putting a lot of pressure on the State back line.
Other big storyline, if you're just joining us, Olivia Thomas, their 13-goal scorer, one of the tops in the country, not available tonight due to injury. And in that case, Kate Fossey has jumped into the tip of the spear as the deepest lying striker tonight.
And while Olivia Thomas is a big loss for the North Carolina Tar Heels, Kate Fossey understands that 9 role. She loves to get in behind. She has the pace. So you certainly don't ever want to see a player like Olivia Thomas out if you're the Tar Heels with the year she's having. But with Fossey there, they have looked really dangerous at times. It may be by committee, though, how they figure out how to score goals in this game.
It's a good matchup in the middle there between Kate Fossey and Brooklyn Holt, playing center back for North Carolina State, the Wolfpack.
We're seeing from the build-up from North Carolina as well. Hope Munson getting a much higher position off that right side than Tessa Della Rose. That's part of the build-up of the player personnel, their profile. Hope Munson and Bella Devey, their combination down the right side is something that can be really impactful going forward.
Pratipus now for North Carolina State. Just swivels that one over the halfway line. Headers won there by Mara. There's that direct ball and running the channels again. And Holt is going to provide the lateral cover and sweep that into the crowd. But again, that's that run you've been talking about by Fossey.
It is, and one of the evolutions we've seen of NC State throughout ACC play is they always want to press, but it could be out of a low block, a medium block, or a high block. They're getting a bit higher in this game, still looking to press. Gatino's recognizing that there's space behind the back line, and now Brooklyn Holt has really needed to be alert to that, as Smith sometimes is not dropping in the right moments.
Here's Sims now. We talked about her getting forward. Look at how quickly she can turn on the ball. She is a live wire. And there's the calmness in midfield from Mana Nakata. Nakata had a game winner against Pitt. Harry Higgins talked about how she has adapted to the more physical college game, which sometimes can be an issue when you're coming from overseas.
It can be. It takes some time to adapt for any players coming into the collegiate game for sure, especially internationally at times. But her calmness on the ball is something, as they continue to build in their possession game, is essential to how they can tick and how they can operate through the midfield third.
And this is some timely possession right now from North Carolina State after being under a lot of pressure here in the first half. And that is the curse of the commentator right there. But they did calm it down a bit, and if they go through Nakata, he loves her as a passer and just a link player.
She's been great as a link player, and you put in Emily Wong next to her as well. She's only a freshman, and she's been a really good partnership for her in midfield, because one can get a little higher, one can stay a little bit lower in midfield, and that allows them to continue to build through the thirds.
There is Nakata from Osaka, Japan. And has added intensity to her game to go along with wonderful skill set. This one's cut out, and a chance maybe in transition here for the Tar Heels. De La Rosa is trying to quickly hit the feet and the running of Fossey.
So now the tough part is that NC State has caught on to the fact that they're looking for the verticality of Fossey. So now someone has to be underneath her when those balls are cleared. So can Freifeld get a little bit higher? Can Olmark get a little bit higher? But it's hard in transition. So you almost have to overhit the ball, or you have to elect to start play over like they're doing now and build.
Going to be a free kick to our Heels. And Olivia Thomas, we mentioned, is not available. See her in the back there. Of course, what a striker she is. She has got 13 goals on the year. It's a big, big loss.
She's had an absolutely incredible year and had a good year last year. Scored the game-winning goal in the national championship, but now it's her consistency of goal contribution that's really been great for the Tar Heels in 2025.
Got it off the free kick against Wake Forest, and does score in a variety of ways. 13 goals and 6 assists on the bench tonight for North Carolina. Clipped in by De La Rosa. Ball is still loose, trying to get there, and it's going to be a free kick here. May have been offside, or somewhere a foul detected by the referee, David Erbacher.
It was the initial challenge. Bretzer and I believe it's Mackenzie Smith in this moment. They go up together and deems that a foul. Kate Fossey goes on Protopis. It does get deflected, but it'll be called back for that challenge that Bretzer initially had on the set piece.
Topis knocked it forward. Daisy Duda knocked it into the North Carolina half of the field.
I like that from Ashley Penny. With the way that NC State's pressing, I think Ashley Penny can actually get on the ball. Instead of going long each time, they can look to find her maybe in that midfield space. Then there's a little level of unpredictability in the way that they build, and it asks questions of NC State.
Well, there's that little higher pressure in the middle third of the field you pointed out before. And again, Fossey flicks the header on, maybe a chance to make it one, and it is. Fantastic goal. Running off a flicked on header is Bella Devey. And it is 1-0 Tar Heels.
Well, why play short when you can go route one and it works? This is absolutely perfectly executed. Bella Devey sees that Kate Fossey's going up. She doesn't lose many aerial challenges, so she says, I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to run off the ball. Smith is not tracking, Aoki's not tracking, and then the composure to finish against an on-rushing Olivia Pratapa. She keeps it low, doesn't even need a touch. She lets it settle, and it's a perfectly weighted finish.
Fourth goal of the year from the freshman from Draper, Utah, stepping right into the college game, not skipping a beat. Has started every single match. And you know, the other thing about that is she has to believe that that header's going to be won. She truly believes that ball's going to be there and takes the finish beautifully.
You've got Caitlin Mara on the defensive side. That's great aerially for the Tar Heels, but everyone knows that Kate Fossey does the defensive work as a header, and she also does the attacking work aerially as well. So if I see Kate Fossey going for a ball, I'm going to run off of it because she's normally going to win it, and she's right now putting herself against Mackenzie Smith in that battle. So Devey knew, let's go in behind and be able to penetrate into that space.
Kate Fossey got some words as you look at Lauren Malsom. And she's come back from playing in the Under-17 World Cup in Morocco. She was there a couple of days ago. The U.S. Under-17s got eliminated by the Netherlands on penalty kicks. It's amazing she's back here already. And she has an opportunity to get some minutes here tonight, according to Damon Nahas.
And a good 30 minutes from Eden Bretzer off the left side. I thought she put in a lot of work, did some really tough work on the set pieces, but this is a great addition. Lauren Malsom being able to come back in and just give some minutes into that area, get her incorporated back in with the team. It helps the depth as well as they manage themselves throughout this game.
Incidentally, another freshman from Marietta, Georgia. We're getting a word here that Louisville now in the 70th minute has a 2-0 lead over SMU. And Virginia with a pair over BC in the 73rd minute.
And this is not what you want to see if you're the North Carolina Tar Heels, because they are already in an advanced position in the ACC standings and would greatly affect the chances of UNC being able to qualify.
Catino, who loves to, on occasion, jump into the attack and get into midfield like she is now. She's going over there to try and win this, and that slows down the transition play for North Carolina State by the Tar Heels.
There's definitely been a focus on the counter-pressing piece, and if you are going to play more direct and you are going to play with a little bit more of that risk, then the counter-pressing, if it doesn't work, matters, because otherwise you leave yourself very exposed if you don't win those second and third balls. So it seems to be a focus of the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Dela Rose, Mara, Catino. Catino's only a sophomore from Dexter, Michigan. Very young Tar Heels. Comes that bigger ball again.
That's well read there by Mackenzie Smith. A good adjustment, and that's going to be important for NC State to understand that Gatino's looking to hit that ball almost every time that she gets it, so immediately drop. It's so much easier to step forward rather than to drop late, so they'll have to continue to adjust that, adjust the line and the restraining line to keep Kate Fossey, Bella Devey honest of the Tar Heels. Well,
basically the Tar Heels tonight looks like they've turned their great striker, North Carolina State's great striker, Jade Bordelot, into a worker here tonight.
She's having to do a lot of the defensive work, but that's something that she's been doing all year, and so I don't think it's really much different than what NC State has seen throughout ACC play. They know that she needs one moment to contribute, and so she's fine and comfortable. I'm sure she'd love to touch the ball more, but she'll be ready in moments that NC State continues to create.
North Carolina player down on the far side of the field. Looks like she might be cramping up. Belligatino. She was an all-ACC freshman team last year. Has played a lot of minutes. 8 of the last 9 games. Gatino has played a full 90 minutes. So got more scores coming in with Duke. 3-1 over Clemson. Well, based on the game you and I did, Duke and North Carolina, we know they can score goals.
Yes, there was a lot of goals that came from distance in that game. You don't really hit a lot of strikes better than that.
Drives it forward.
I like that from Mazziato, just stepping a little bit higher on Ashley Penny. The Tar Heels, since the goal, have started to build a little bit more. Gatino still looks to play long the majority of the time, but if NC State can get Mazziato a little higher in their wingers, they can get better pressure on the ball.
Yeah, they're still looking for their first good chance of this. Here's a good ball turned back into the middle. There's a second ball. De La Rosa is going to get there. Penny. Still Penny. Tried to run her way forward. De La Rosa wins it back. Pratipus calmly.
I think this is smart from Olivia Protopis here, just to settle down a little bit, just get a shape, an expansive shape. She might choose to go long in this moment, but just take a bit of a breather here. You don't want that 1 goal to turn into 2 if you're NC State, and so she takes that time. Now it's going to be about winning first and second balls and someone in the midfield putting their foot on the ball and calming things down for State, which I think you have to look at Nakata for that. If they can get her on the ball, she has that calming presence.
De La Rosa's fouled. Play the short one here.
Tight.
We have 2 ACC championships for you right here on the ACC network and the all-new ESPN app. Coverage of the men's and women's cross-country races begin Friday morning. Get ready for that, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Then Sunday, the women's soccer championship gets underway. So all the ACC championships getting closer and closer. Mazziato will pick up a yellow.
And these are just little moments of frustration right here. Eventually the foul is called as she reacts in that moment after losing possession, but then it's the kicking of the ball away, just delaying play. Very easy yellow card for our center official to see.
De La Rosa comes across the field to take the set piece. Plays one down the line, and offside flag is up. Timing just off. They tried to put in Bella Devey. She is the game's goal scorer, though.
Bella Devey looks more intentional tonight than we've seen her throughout ACC play. She's done really well, but she is a freshman. But tonight, just a little more impactful, not just because she has the goal, but just when you see a player's body language and the sprinting and the tenacity to go. I've seen her be a bit more vertical than we've seen her throughout ACC play so far.
Called offside there on Fossey. Kenzie Smith to restart it here for the Wolfpack. They were 4-10-4 last year. This has been a success and beginning to turn this around for new head coach Gary Higgins. There again is the great pressure. And Gattino's not afraid to step out of that center back position to go into midfield and try and deny people and put pressure on the ball.
No, she's not. And Aoki had done some really good 1v1 defending there, but you see an immediate reaction from the Tar Heels, just looking to win the ball back immediately. And I think that's really been the difference in this first half, has just been that reaction defensively to get the ball back, earn it back, and be able to set play.
So a quick look there at Aoki. Carolina really getting around the ball here tonight. Fossey's in a chase there with Brooklyn Holt. Holt wins it. Here's Sims now.
Good defending there from Sims, just coming back in this moment. Now it's about keeping it. There's so many numbers going to be around Bordelot. So this is that middle third possession for State that's really important. Can they enjoy the ball, reestablish possession, keep it for a more sustained period of time, and move the Tar Heels defensive unit?
Smith. Get it switched if you're North Carolina State. Now they find a little time.
Well, to your point, Glenn, anytime there's so much pressure and numbers around the ball, it's about the change of point. Can you get it to the opposite side, make the entire defensive unit change and shift? And that's where you can usually isolate 1v1.
And now they got Sims. And she's willing to take people on and get forward. North Carolina gets a second defender over there, does a great job defensively. Duda. Good early ball. Out of the back. This is Fossey in full flight. She's got some good running on the right side. Olmark. Fossey's made a run to the back post. Olmark's cross is blocked. And they're going to say it's a goal kick, so North Carolina State recovers here. But boy, this looked dangerous when it broke out of midfield.
It's hard to fault the intensity of the runs. The intensity is there from Kate Fossey. I love that she goes across the field, but the ball just takes Linda Olmark too wide. Really needs to be more of a straight ball in. Give NC State credit, though, for recovering and narrowing defensively. Linda Olmark then looks to take on lots of little deflections. That last one, it goes over the end line.
Well, the intensity's been there. We know that for North Carolina tonight. And Damon Nahas said to us, that's one thing about NC State. We do have to match their intensity because he feels that's a big piece of their game.
And the question is going to be, can you keep that up for an entire 90 minutes? Because there's a very big physical output, not just the mental side. I think the mental side and the physical side the Tar Heels have gotten right, but it's hard to maintain that.
It's been a very high-paced game. Wolfpack off the throw here. Under 5 minutes left here in the first half. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. North Carolina and NC State. Breaking out of midfield in full flight. It's basically a 3-on-3 here. Free kick Wolfpack. Olmark called for the foul.
And it's a little bit different of an attacking transition, but it's the same players involved. Kate Fossey looks to go in. Smith doesn't really narrow. The left center back, the space is actually through the center back. She tries to go to Linda Olmark. That ball has to be so technically perfect for it to work. So really, you just want to turn the backs of the center backs there, let Linda Olmark run onto it.
Sims. Flaring out to the right is Duda. Duda gets it at her feet now. North Carolina has gotten back behind the ball nicely here. Ooh, trying to get turned here.
That's good defensive structure there from Nakata. This allows them to reset play, try to find Bordelot's feet. Bordelot was really good bringing that previous one out of the air, but they got to keep an eye on her.
Here's Bordelot now. She's trying to get turned in that last sequence. She's going to earn a free kick.
And Bordelot's very good when she posts up play like that. So Mara's on her. You're using that aggressive defending against the player. I like this from Bordelot. That's a typical number 9. What they should be doing is looking for that back to goal play, trying to draw contact in that area.
Well, you mentioned it. It only takes one for her. And to get her higher up the field in moments like this is a big piece for the Wolfpack. Under 3 minutes left here in the first half. Antonella Maziotto standing over it, the sophomore from Fray Bentos, Uruguay. Has represented Uruguay at the under 17 and under 19 level. Off the free kick, off the crossbar. What a hit from Maziotto.
Well, this is incredible technique from Maziotto. She steps up just 2 steps. It looks like it's going into that upper corner, and it just goes right off the crossbar. It looks like it's almost picture perfect. Johan did as much as she could do. She couldn't cover that, but what a great hit from the midfielder.
It's funny, when the free kick was called, Maziotto was waving to the bench. I want to take it. Ball comes in again. She was in there again. Good clean handling from Hannah Johan in goal.
Well, I think that's what's special about Maziotto is she wants that on her back. Like, she wants that opportunity. You can even tell there she's willing to make those runs, the brave runs in behind, challenge the goalkeeper. And you want players like that that want to be difference makers in big moments.
Well, what's distinctive about Uruguayan soccer is they are fighters. It's a part of the DNA, and she certainly has it. Nakata spins and turns, just so fluid. Nice 1-2 here from NC State, and they were one pass away from trying to put in Bordelot.
Well, and that's what's going to be tough for NC State is Bordelot is someone that North Carolina is going to focus on, so you have to have a second runner off of her because there's so much focus on her run. Almost 2 players are always going with her. So Duda, Hernandez, Maziotto getting a little bit higher and having coordinated movements can make it harder on the Tar Heel back line.
Well, we got a lot coming up at halftime, and of course the bubble teams. We're going to take a look at some blind resumes. This is going to be real fun about some of the teams in women's college soccer around the ACC highlights, scores, and standings, and then we'll take you through some really good first half highlights. We just saw one off the free kick from Maziotto of North Carolina State. One more chance for the Tar Heels to get it into the box. Now 12 seconds left. Direct ball towards Bordelot. So it'll be a 30th minute goal here tonight from Bella Devey. That is the difference in this one. Thoughts on the first half?
Well, it's been incredibly end-to-end, fast-paced, what you expect.
Take a look at the updated standings. The Tar Heels from going to the ACC tournament next week and carry North Carolina. Game on here in the second half. And that is a move there that we've seen a number of teams doing internationally now, is just knocking a ball forward just to gain territory. And then to apply the press off the throw-in.
And I really don't expect, Glenn, for us to see a drop in play just based on what's happening with the ACC tournament. Both of these teams are really in good form. NC State has had a great ACC run of form, and they'll want to continue that, react to what happened in the first half. And for the Tar Heels, they need to try to get into more consistent form. And so making sure that goes across 90 minutes will be really important with the NCAA tournament around the corner.
Yeah, these don't seem to be two coaches who are going to let up here
Definitely
tonight. That's
not.
for sure.
Definitely
Damon
not.
Nahas and Gary Higgins.
And I do think for the Tar Heels, though, there are moments in that first half where it could have dialed back the intensity and they could have decided to keep the ball a little bit more, but you run the risk of the mentality getting too low then. I think in the second half they may pick some of those moments to recycle play, but we'll see.
Yeah, speak to that balance, because there was a point in the first half where they were going so direct. You mentioned it, and you said, well, they now need to mix it up and play underneath a little bit.
It can become predictable at times if you do that. Yes, you can still employ it, and it puts pressure on a back line, and so you might elect to do that. But if you're trying to be a little bit more sophisticated in the attack as your opposition starts to figure out how to defend it, then you change it up a little bit, and that now you become unpredictable.
Here come the Tar Heels. Fossey off the turn, whipped it over the crossbar.
Well, this is an element of it right here, Glenn, because there was still intentionality behind going forward. It was just under control through possession in the wide flank. That is a very direct ball, but it's right to Kate Fossey's feet. She's looking to go to goal. So just because you circulate play doesn't mean the intentionality has to go away or being goal dangerous.
Sims now. Rose has won it back, is running it forward here. She's played it down the line, and nearly a little bit of a ball left in a good place at the 18-yard box, but North Carolina State recovers here. De La Rose stepping up again. And North Carolina will get the throw in here.
And NC State has started this half with Maziotto in. I thought she was a really good addition. She didn't start the game, but came in, not only had the great opportunity off the free kick, but also just in midfield, very mobile and able to get forward.
And brought a little bit of fire, too.
100%.
Absolutely not overawed by the situation. Here's NC State. Now, this is some good stuff from them to get some moments like this, as you've mentioned, Casey. Bigger ball forward from Smith.
Great technique from Maziotto there in that moment, just to avoid pressure of Mara. I think going long might not be the best solution right now for the center backs. Just keep it, move the ball, get your outside backs a little bit higher. That forces the Tar Heels outside backs to make decisions in defending overloads.
In the box and cleared. Good little build up there. They tried to pick out Bordelot at the end of that attack. First corner of the match now for North Carolina State.
And I mentioned it in the first half that they needed to get a player that was closer to Bordelot. Just by Maziotto being a little bit higher, it forced Gattino to clear the ball out for the Eric corner kick there in that moment. If she's not close, Gattino has time to clear that out for a throw-in.
And zonal marking here from UNC. In it comes towards the near post. All was punched and missed, but there's a free kick here.
That service from the corner kick is an absolute nightmare to deal with. Johan goes up, but there is some screening right in front from Mary Frances Sims where Johan is impeded. She can't get to the ball in that moment. It was cleared off the line. But I tell you what, that service, when it's driven like that inside the six, the technical execution it takes to hit that cannot be overstated.
And all the pace in the delivery. You don't have to, as long as you make contact. So dangerous.
That's a goal scorer's dream, just to time that perfectly and run right into that type of service.
Johan's going to get there. Quickly distributes to her left. That's not the best of balls. swept back to Protopus. Low 50s here in North Carolina. Beautiful night for college soccer. Beautiful setting.
There's definitely a different defensive structure for NC State, with Maziotto staying a little bit higher, and in the build she's getting higher as well. Just a different look for State as they come out of the second half.
Devey, the game's goal scorer now, sizing up a defender. Devey still in possession. Penny, Delarose, extended possession and confidence through passing here for the Tar Heels. Breaking through tackle after tackle. That was Olmark. And just driven out of there. It's going to be a free kick here. Brooklyn Holt drove it out of there, the center back. Eden Bretzer. And a good look at Mary Frances Sims, the junior from Gulfport, Mississippi. Back on September 7th, had a pair of goals against Campbell in a 4-0 win.
Good step there from Mara into that space, because Bordelot's dropping in, and the two wingers are playing a little bit more narrow for State as well, just trying to pin against the back line of the North Carolina Tar Heels. It's just about getting more numbers higher up the field for State, and it's starting to work.
Pushed out wide now. Duda. It's going to be another corner for NC State. It's the second one of this half. Last touch by Mara.
And again, it's Nakata going over. I'm not surprised she's going over to take this corner kick with the service we just last saw, but it is that vertical play, more runs in behind, more coordinated movement for the Wolfpack, and it's causing problems for the back line.
They've stacked a number of players just outside the 6-yard box. It was dangerous the last time. Can it be dangerous again? Yes, it can. But it's defended well here.
When you can see Protopus holding a high line here as well, coming up to support, that just keeps her back line from having to come all the way back. They can look for this resurface.
Protopus knocks it forward. Good header there from Mara again, who has been really winning a lot of challenges in the air tonight. Protopus plays it on the right side of the field. That's a wonderful touch and turn. And a wonderful switch of play. NC State on the attack, one pass away from it, and then swept away by North Carolina.
And actually the pressing cues from the Tar Heels, they were making the right decisions to press, but it was Daisy Duda who eluded that pressure, outplayed in the 1v1, and then found the change of point. It was just better attacking, even though the defensive decisions were actually very sound.
Seems to be a little more confidence here in the second half. What is the other things that Gary Higgins has done here? Just seems a little bit more aggressive, and I also think the insertion of Maziotto to start in the second half was a big piece.
It definitely has been. She's grown in confidence, and someone that Damon Nahas knew could have impact as this shot goes on frame. Nothing really to test Johan there in that moment, but I think sometimes you go on the road and you have to just withstand what you see, that energy. But what they've also done is they're having Hernandez, Maziotto, and Duda just play higher up. It's putting North Carolina under a little more pressure.
College basketball season tips off Monday on ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app. 25 court North Carolina hosts Central Arkansas 7 Eastern. Then you got 11th ranked Louisville taking on South Carolina State. The Nothing But Net crew will have all the highlights and analysis from opening night 11 Eastern. ACC men's basketball. This is a renewed more confident and more aggressive in attack, North Carolina State, here in the second half.
Well, that was a perfect example defensively because Hernandez's positioning as a winger is higher than what we saw in the first half from Roberts, from Duda, and Hernandez herself. A little bit higher up the field, you're able to get more pressure on the ball as there is build-out going on, and then you have more numbers high to join Jade Bordelot. So that entire change of the wingers just putting a little bit more pressure on has made now the Tar Heels have to adapt of how they're going to build out differently from the first half.
For the Wolfpack, Sophia Hernandez goes off. Erica Roberts back on. Erica Roberts is one of the players that followed Coach Gary Higgins in his first year at NC State over from the East Carolina program.
And she was important. She got a game-winning goal early in that tournament as well against Charlotte, coming off the bench. So a player that was essential to the run in the American Conference Championship.
Got a great memory.
I do remember that one. I can remember the celebration, and that whole run by East Carolina was something to watch.
That was incredible. That was a great tournament. And we're going to get more of that greatness next week with the women's ACC tournament. Carrying North Carolina, and there will be drama in that. There's a guarantee of that. Nakata is going to test one. Some good pace and power on it. Good look at it all the way, though, from Hannah Johan. But, boy, you have to be impressed with this midfielder.
Nakata's been great, and she has scored some long-distance goals already this year, and you can tell as UNC starts to drop back and they're trying to eliminate space behind, there's now space created in front. She's taking it, looking for those long-range shots. And I'm going to say the opposite of what I said in the first half. Now UNC looks like they're trying to play out a little bit more. I'd go long. I'd go a little bit more direct. They have to flip the script a little bit here because NC State has definitely come out and put them more under pressure.
Good look at Jade Bordelot. We gave her the drum roll. One of the top strikers in the country. Has got 10 goals on the year, the junior from Canada. 7 of them in ACC play.
It's impressive as well because, like I mentioned earlier, she's on all the scouting reports and they play a defensive structure, and she hasn't had a lot of chances, but she's been efficient.
So Riley Kennedy, also back from the under-17 Women's World Cup in Morocco. Freshman from right around here, Raleigh, North Carolina. Last game she played was October 5th against Pitt. She is back and has been traveling the world and now back for the Tar Heels. In she comes.
And again, the incorporation of her just into the patterns and getting back under play is important, especially with them knowing that they're not going to be in the ACC tournament, so there's not going to be a lot of opportunities to get players like her and Laura Malsom back in, and that's really important to the way that they attack. And one of the things we haven't brought up in this game, which I think has to be stated, is the absence of Avon Alvarez as well. She has been critical to this North Carolina team, had great performance versus SMU on both sides of the ball, and then is out with injury for the remainder of the season. It really changes the way they build. She can play inverted as an outside back. She can get up high. She's played center back at times. So not only what she can do on the field, but some of her leadership qualities as well as another player that the Tar Heels will be missing throughout the rest of the season.
Kennedy with a touch back to Gattino. Gattino goes direct again. That's been one of her favorite balls tonight. Flicked on by Fossey, but nobody reading it. But this has been an impressive effort here in the second half from North Carolina State. By the way, has only won 3 times in history against UNC. UNC has won 49 times, NC State 3 with 2 draws.
Well, I think one of the things that NC State has really shown that's been incredibly impressive is they're so adaptable. They take on information very quickly. Some of that has to be given credit to the coaching staff for being able to relay it properly, but also NC State is able to put it into play relatively quick and have impact.
Nice play from Hope Munson there to shield off the run of Aoki. Nakata. And Olmark. Mackenzie Smith, she's really got a great range of passing over distance and is not afraid to hit longer balls. Bordelot flicked it on, but it's going to go all the way back to Johan. Week 10 ACC Network Saturday football lineup, noon Eastern. It'll be Duke and Clemson, then Pitt takes on Stanford, and finally Florida State hosting Wake Forest in Tallahassee. That's 7:30 Eastern. All three of these games also available on the all-new ESPN app. Sims. Look at how Bordelot, who came out wide, was just totally blanketed. Not a lot of space. Just draped all over her was Mara.
She's definitely the player that they're going to be focused on, and that's why those coordination of movements by NC State's been more effective in this second half, because they have a higher starting position for their attack, with their players being a little bit higher.
Here they come again now. That is blocked as driving it forward there. There's Erica Roberts from St. Petersburg, Florida. Really like the contributions of Mazziotto, the sophomore.
Her first touch has been really efficient. She's comfortable under pressure. She's drawing fouls. And so she just knows how to operate in little pockets of space. She's getting in more advanced position. Something that's also changed is Nakata's a little bit more advanced, and Wong is staying a little bit deeper at times. They were really side by side, and they weren't really pivoting and moving in the first half as much. Now we're seeing them play where they get one a little bit higher up to join Mazziotto in the attack.
Roberts. Long ball to the back post. And it's another corner for North Carolina State. Opportunity to bring Brooklyn Holt forward. Also to bring Mackenzie Smith forward. The only corners of the game have been earned by NC State remarkably.
It's pretty amazing for how end-to-end it has been. That the three corners have only come in the second half as well. For all we saw in the first half, nothing resulted in a corner kick.
This one driven towards the near post and miss hit out for the goal kick for North Carolina. That's a rare miss hit from Mana Nakata.
I don't normally say this because when I was coaching, you hate to see one go out of bounds. But if she can hit a ball like she does 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, I'll take the one out of bounds, because the way she has to hit that, she has to be confident. And there's just a very small room for error on those.
Oh, she connects with people. I mean, I don't remember her making more than one bad pass here tonight.
Exactly.
Running this one down, Freifeld. Freshman from Bend, Oregon. She's got 3 goals.
Well, this resurgence in the second half from State's a good test for North Carolina, because one of their upperclassmen of the very few is Olivia Thomas that's not in tonight. So you really just have Kate Fossey on the field that is the upperclassman, is the senior. So many young players that haven't necessarily been through these types of moments all the time. So continue to get tested. And when you play in the ACC, you're going to see different styles of play in each half in the same game at times.
Here's Bordelot trying to run it down. Have to credit her. She remains persistent. Sometimes on a night like tonight, you got to chase a lot of lost causes. But she's gotten a lot more support, to Casey White's point, here in the second half. Going to be a free kick, and this is potentially Antonella Mazziotto territory here.
what looks to be from the exact same point, just from the opposite side. So if she steps up and hits this with her left foot in the same way, I'll be incredibly impressed. I would assume she'll take it with her right. It may be more of a service, or she could go for power just based on this angle. Not surprised the foul was called. Gattino just was impeding the space as Mazziato tried to go through.
Gotta love her. The minute she was fouled, she runs over, picks up the ball. Let's see if she delivers. She's got 5 at the back post. So it'd have to be something extremely special to score from here. She's going to try it, and
did she go outside of the foot? Did she go outside of the foot on that one?
I think she may have. The way the ball...
If she did go outside of the foot on that one, that's incredibly impressive and cheeky to trust herself. Oh, I can't quite tell in that moment if she did, but it looks like she may have come across her body, but I wouldn't put it past her to try something technically like that.
No, and it's a different thought process and some creative thinking there. And of course, we know South Americans love the use of the outside of the foot.
Definitely.
Oh, here's a chance. Oh, they were one pass away from it. Boy, so if you're North Carolina now and you're Damon Nahas, what do you want from your team at this point? Because you're obviously losing the territorial battle a little bit after dominating the first half.
Well, that was something we did speak to him about, Glenn, was just like allowing teams to gain territory, whether it's through throw-ins, set pieces, just unnecessary fouls, or through their own play. And NC State has definitely done that. I think they have to, again, match the intensity. NC State now is starting to really lift the intensity where North Carolina did that in the first half. And I think the Tar Heels are doing a decent job with it, but it doesn't seem as workmanlike as it did in the first half. So I think that's first and foremost. And then playing a little bit more direct, making NC State go and chase in behind could help relieve a little bit of pressure.
Can you break this pressure? That's how you break it. You win a ball back like that. Fossey. Still Fossey. He's going to hold it up. And an unforced error there after doing all the hard work.
I like that she turned out, though, in that moment. There was no way she was going to be able to go to goal. And what you do is if you do go to goal, you actually give up play, and then you're chasing back the opposite direction. Although there was a technical mistake in that moment, the decision was right, and it allows North Carolina to take over a little higher up the field.
But that's a tricky one. Recirculating the ball.
It is. It's so
and
hard.
Wanting people to go at people and take people on.
It is, and sometimes it's based on your own energy. Also, you've got to take a snapshot of what it looks like. There were 2 covering defenders in that moment. So the decision was right, but as you go further in the game, sometimes connecting those 5 to 7 yard passes can elude you.
Here's Ashley Penny to Hope Munson. Hope Munson again, another freshman, Holiday, Utah. I'm just taken aback by the amount of youth out here. Tapas knocks it forward. North Carolina. Gattino now. Took a look right and left to make sure there was nobody closing her down. Driven in, cross, defended well. It was a bit of a tester. Coming back to defend that was Mackenzie Smith.
And the reason that play was better was because they drew Mazziato out of her attacking midfield position. That allowed to get Penny on the ball. She was able to change the point. Those are the things that the Tar Heels need to do to manipulate NC State out of their defensive structure.
De La Rose to the feet of Olmark. And the switch is on here. Gattino, Munson. Try to work the 1-2, doesn't come off. Gattino heads it down beautifully, helps to keep possession.
And Riley Kennedy dropping a little lower in a lower starting position, and that pulls Emily Wong out at midfield. It's good recognition from the young midfielder to know that the space is a little bit lower, because the more Kennedy and Penny get on the ball, it just relieves a little bit more pressure, and now you see that NC State's having to defend more.
I like Ashley Penny's ability to get out of pressure with the ball at her feet. You know, it's a position where you're getting closed down from every single angle.
She's so quick, and she reads pressure really well. She likes to go against the grain, opposite movement.
Munson joining in. She gets looked off. Penny. Ashley Penny again. Here's Riley Kennedy. Fresh off the plane pretty much from Morocco.
It's incredibly impressive to be out there and playing minutes, and we saw Malsom in the first half. I'm assuming they'll be quite limited, but it does just allow them to get back into the groove of how the Tar Heels are playing and moving forward.
Riley Kennedy was fouled there. It's going to be a free kick now. Under 19 minutes left here. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the beautiful Dorrance Field. Glenn Davis alongside Casey White. And the Tar Heels with a 1-0 lead here over the Wolfpack. 30th minute goal from Bella Devey. An offside flag on Kate Fossey, who came from an offside position, but well, she's proven that, you know, she can knock some balls off into channels for others. That's how the goal was scored.
And that time, 2 runs were going off of it. It was both Devey and Olmark saying, Kate Fossey, we trust you. We're going to run in behind. And we also know if you don't head it in behind, you're going to track back defensively. Just the timing a little bit off there as she started offside.
Well, let's see if the Tar Heels can wrestle back some of this game now after being under pressure for a good amount of time. No shots for the Tar Heels for 25 minutes. And that may be more about NC State's abilities here in the second half.
Well, this is quite an interesting opportunity for the Tar Heels as well. Only 6 shutouts on the year, so also there's something to be said for trying to be as stingy defensively as possible, because NC State is going to throw numbers forward looking for the equalizer, and the Tar Heels have been bleeding goals here recently, so they'll be really focused on that.
Yeah, coming off a 4-2 win over Syracuse, conceded 2 in that one. Bordelot is going to get called for the foul. Free kick, Tar Heels. And UNC has been vulnerable at times defensively this year.
She's going to need that shoe back in order to continue in this game as Gattino goes down. Bordelot just steps right on the back of it, takes it clean off in that moment. Gattino draws the foul.
She's a workhorse, too. She doesn't miss a lot of minutes.
She did a great job in that moment because she actually had an initial mistake, and that looked like Bordelot was going to get in behind, but she has that quick first 2 steps to be able to recover, able to get around the outside and still draw the foul.
Bella Gattino, mentioned it in the first half, 8 of her last 9 games has gone the full 90 minutes.
She's been essential not only from a defensive side, but she is a center back that's willing to go forward. Sometimes she'll dribble into the midfield area and take a bit too aggressive of a touch, but you like that out of a player because she's looking to probe, draw players out. But I think tonight, where she's been essential is that willingness to always look forward with a penetrating ball. Early in the first half, that direct play from her is really what North Carolina needed.
Hey, don't forget, 10 a.m. Eastern this Saturday morning. Join us. The ACC Huddle crew will be at SMU in Dallas to get you ready for another full day of football. 2-hour pregame show. They'll have game previews, expert analysis, featured stories. It's all right here on the ACC network and the all-new ESPN app. Right here in Chapel Hill, it's North Carolina with a 1-0 lead over North Carolina State. Under 17 minutes left here. Both these teams with the knowledge that they will not be going to the ACC tournament, but looking to finish strong the regular season here. Hope Munson, Ashley Penny, Linda Allmark now. Beautiful combination play. Great play in small spaces here from North Carolina. Riley Kennedy now. Can they turn it into shots and chance creation here in the second half? That's been the missing piece.
It has been, and they've had to figure out how to establish the possession because NC State has come out with a really great mentality. They've got numbers higher up the field. So the Tar Heels have figured out how now to control a little bit more of the game, but it's that final third piece. They're just not clicking as much when they get into that area.
One back by Penny. Well, Damon Nahas has been challenged with national team call-ups, players going pro, injuries, and not to say that this is the only program that has had those challenges, but these are real challenges. And you got a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this team that really are getting real opportunity and maybe additional minutes at this stage of their career. Oh, that's a beautiful driven-in ball. It's a chance to make it two. And the first shot of the second half for North Carolina and Kate Fossey. It's a big save from Protopus. And again, comes off some great delivery.
Gattino's always looking to be impactful in the attack. She does the defensive work, but she's looking for the pass that's going to be most hurtful to the opposition, and that was another moment displaying it.
To the end line. They square it back. Now North Carolina trying to wrap their arms around this game a little bit more. Here's Penny. They are starting to respond here after being under pressure for a large portion of the second half. Offside flag is up.
And Gattino just looks to go forward. Brooklyn Holt misreads it. A great first touch by Kate Fossey, and even better save from Olivia Protopus. But taking this down off the chest, I love that she does it on the next touch. She leaves her feet, goes for it. That's a goal-scoring mentality, but what a wonderful save from Protopus.
With her right foot. Again, I know I've mentioned it already, but she comes off a performance of 16 saves against Duke.
Incredible.
Might be looking like a beach ball right now. This is a direct ball. Protopus is off her line.
Well, and NC State's really made the Tar Heels have to adapt to the second half. I think the insertion of Riley Kennedy really changes things as Bella Devey pressures there. It allows Ashley Penny to get a little bit higher. That's helping in possession.
It's one back here. Devey tried to cut onto her left. Big tackle there. Roberts just drives it forward. Mara back to Johan. And there's always Gattino. Nice threaded pass from Gattino. How about that? That's for vision there. Just put a ton of players behind the ball. Off and running now is Allmark.
The ability to break lines from Gattino is really what sets her apart. Linda Allmark misses that little bit of a slip ball there for Kate Fossey as well. But with Gattino looking to go a little bit more forward, UNC's definitely settled in here with Riley Kennedy and there, Ashley Penny. They're getting on the ball a lot more.
Allmark. Shot took a deflection. It's going to go out for a corner. And that is the very first corner, remarkably, for UNC in this game, despite all the pressure they had in the first half and the pressure they're now putting on in the second half. Under 12 minutes left here. Well, now in the case of, well, we'll get to that in a second because we got a big corner here. And going over to take it is Tessa De La Rose. One of the big leaders of this North Carolina team. Off the corner, Patapis punches away. And then cleared. All right, so with the knowledge that they are not going to the ACC tournament, the Tar Heels, is that break not a bad thing before what we understand that they will get picked to go to the NCAA tournament?
Well, as you and I both know, any competitor is never going to ask for the break, but that's what you get. You have to take advantage of it. And as Ashley Penny goes through there, but you take advantage of it and you can rest up. You can incorporate Malsom back in. You can incorporate Kennedy back in with some rest, and then potentially an Olivia Thomas who's also out in this game. So I think it's probably welcome in some ways that they'll get a break, but they'll never admit that. No one doesn't want to make the ACC tournament.
No, but it could end up being something
never know.
That, this team could end up doing what they did last year, Bordelot.
Well, the great part about the ACC is that only 6 teams get in, which is the tough part, but it's such a hard schedule that your strength of schedule is so high that you are consistently still in top 25s potentially, and definitely within the NCAA tournament, and not even making your own conference tournament. So that's what's so great about the ACC play.
Off the turn, that's out for the goal kick. Well, I love the fact that there's consequence and only 6 teams make it.
Yeah, I think so. It really makes it incredibly competitive. Everything matters. It really can mimic to a degree the NCAA tournament as well, where there's small margins, little moments matter. Corner kick goals against, set pieces, foul, like little things. Finishing efficiency are the real separators in a conference like this.
Johan off the goal kick, working on the clean sheet here tonight. This time, Fossey tried to get turned. Roberts. Tino has been everywhere here tonight. He's brought so much to this game. With a nice little layoff. She's going to get it back. Look at her feet to come out of there. Her ability to change direction, it's just so effortless. I wish I was like that.
You probably used to be, Glenn. Just like me. I wish I was too still.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not in my case. I had to think about it.
Trying to give you a little credit.
Well, I was a center back, so. Delaros does a great job of coming out, cutting that cross off.
Well, that picture we just saw there is the difference in this half. 4 players for NC State in the penalty area, but now it's opening up more and more end to end.
Chance here. It's Devey again, and shot right on. Pratapus narrows the angle. It hits her. But it's your goal scorer who gets another chance and gets in behind here.
I love the intentionality behind Linda Olmark, and then the pace and texture she puts on the ball. Give Aoki credit, though. She makes Devey take her touch away from goal, cuts the angle well. You just want to make sure that you allow Pratapis an angle where she can make a save, and she does.
Yeah, Pratapis made that look pretty easy based on positioning and help from her defender, as you mentioned. Coutinho, Munson. She tried to pick out the movement back towards the ball from Olmark. Blocked by Devey. And for the moment right now, with under 8 minutes left, has the game-winning goal in this one.
The Tar Heels need to have some awareness, too. When they are building NC State, they're out of a 4-2-4, pushing 4 along the back line. So the role of the 6s, the holding mids, become even more important to help win those second and third balls that might bounce out.
It's not been an easy game for Jade Bordelot, but along with that, UNC has done a great job defending her.
They've stepped really aggressively on Bordelot, but it's not unlike what she's seen against other teams as well. Although Gary Higgins did say the athleticism piece of UNC was going to be something that they really had to be aware of, but Bordelot just continues to play.
Erica Roberts off the throw. switch of play from Wang. Wolfpack trying to carve out some chances here in the final minutes of this one. Down a goal. Saw Mazziotto getting higher and higher. Olmark trying to jump out of there again like we've seen her do all night. Ooh. That was a pass. If it's a little bit better ball and closer to Mazziotto, she had some room.
I like the decision of it from Brooklyn Holt, because as the back line of UNC is stepping, you use that momentum against them to slip that ball in, and a player can run from midfield. It was just that pace on it was a little bit too much to cause any real problems.
Sims trying to now join in down that right side for NC State. Out for the goal kick. There is Gary Higgins in his first year, the former East Carolina coach. What a season he's led them to. Yes, they may not be going to the ACC tournament. Yes, they may not be going to the NCAA tournament, but the reversal and the turnaround of this program in this 1 year under him has been pretty special.
The turnaround, but also just the evolution within this short season has been pretty incredible. I think if you're any team in the ACC, you're not wanting to see NC State if you ask a lot of the coaches down the stretch, and the way they've grown and the way they've adapted and started to play.
Lauren Malsom comes back in. Harry Freifeld goes off. And you mentioned the importance of the clean sheet, the shutout here tonight for the Tar Heels.
Well, it's incredibly important just for this game, of course, because they haven't extended the lead, so you're wanting to get 3 points versus 1 point. Just from a mentality piece, though, to know that you can have clean sheets can really propel you and have your team understand that we can be also hard defensively and score goals and be able to do both.
Tapas knocked that out. There's a good look at Damon Nahas. He's welcome back 2 under-17 youth national team players at a critical time of the year, which could be more influential than we know in this exact moment. But as you mentioned, it helps him from the depth standpoint. He was really complimentary of what Gary Higgins is doing. He said, you know, we got respect for NC State and what they've become. North Carolina State desperate to get this forward here. They've made a good push here in the second half, but they have not breached the goal of Hannah Johan.
But they've had some late game heroics in the ACC, so you know that's what Gary Higgins and the staff is saying. Continue to go. They look like a team that's playing with belief as well. So the organization of the Tar Heels is going to be important, because NC State's going to continue to throw numbers forward here these last few minutes.
And they're pushing high off the throw in here, trying to win it back. Munson's throw. It's going to be a throw in NC State. And it's a good long throw in. Mazziotto against Munson. Mazziotto trying to come out of there. There's always there's always Coutinho. Ball is still loose here. It's a shooting opportunity. It's a right-footed hit just off the mark. Sims from a right back position getting forward here.
We've seen it the entire second half. Mary Frances Sims in a more advanced position, more familiar area. Great layoff from Duda, just comes across it. That's incredibly close from Sims. Almost gets that on frame, looking for the equalizer. But we expected this from NC State. They're going to continue to push till that very last second.
Munson now. Let's not forget, Tanela Mazziotto hit the crossbar off a free kick in the first half as well. Nice little flick on there again from Mazziotto, who continues to impress. Roberts off the throw. Protopis now. She's got her head up. She's going to drive in the box. It's a long diagonal. Trying to get there is Brooklyn Holt. Holt is going to try to get the quick throw in here, but it will be a North Carolina throw in here with under 20 seconds left in this one. So the Tar Heels are going to see this out. They're going to get a shutout here tonight. They're going to win this one 1-0 on a 30th minute Bella Devey goal. It's the 7th shutout of the year for the Tar Heels. Both these teams will finish their regular season